Ready for the video?
Ready?
Let's get it. Present practice. What is vibing? This is Vish and
Jacqueline Bryant.
And today we'll be responding to Sadhguru's video on
Is it possible to master time?
Today I'm here with
Jacqueline Bryant.
Want to introduce yourself?
Hi guys. I'm born and raised Texan and found my way back to Austin after 5 years and living in Washington, D.C. as a flight attendant. Still currently a flight attendant and looking forward to going back to work after a crazy year.
Sweet. And I'm curious, do you have any experience with meditation or anything like that?
In this past year, definitely has been more of a daily ritual for myself, waking up and finding that time to kind of sit with my thoughts and understand what I need for that day in order to get the things done that I need and kind of recharge from, saying social events or the day-to-day obstacles that arise. So yeah, basically just trying to implement in a daily practice and be mindful that it is something that you need to go forward and kind of figure out for yourself.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And have you heard of Sadhguru before?
I haven't, but I'm excited to learn a little bit more and hear about it.
Sweet. So he is a yogi, mystic, and visionary. And with that...
Okay, let's get into the video.
Without having mastery over time, nobody can determine the nature of their destiny in their lives. So the only way you can take charge of time is by mastering your energies, how they function. If you are functioning like a steam engine, it's a long time. If you're functioning like a jet engine, boom. And one who's taken charge of time, for him, the entire universe is a sweetness of compassion. Once you came here as a human being, life got a little complicated. If you came here like any other creature on this planet, stomach full, life settled. Once you come here as a human being, stomach empty, only one problem. Stomach full, 100 problems. So what we are calling as life here is just a certain combination of time and energy. This combo of time and energy, unfortunately, majority of the people never learn to handle it seamlessly and wonderfully. Hitch after hitch, everything is a problem. If you're a toddler, you have diaper problems. If you become an adolescent, you have hormonal problems. If you become middle-aged, there is a crisis. Old age is horrible. Every phase of life, people are seeing it as some kind of a problem. Of course, death is a serious problem. So this combination of time and energy, we must understand the nature of what we are handling. Time, by its own nature, is such. You do something, it rolls. If you don't do something, it rolls. You don't have to push it, I'm saying. Hello? As you're sitting here, it's rolling away. You're doing a lot of things, it's rolling away. You do nothing, it rolls away. You're awake, it rolls away. You're asleep, it rolls away. But without having mastery over time, nobody can determine the nature of their destiny in their lives. How to grab time? People are talking about time management. Have you ever managed time? As you sit here, it's ticking away. And what's ticking away is not a clock. What's ticking away is our life itself. Hello? Since I walked in, you're 2 minutes closer to your grave. Yes, you are. Me too. This is the nature of time. Whatever you do not do anything you want, but you're not able to roll it back. It is only rolling forward. It is just that, if you're happy, it seems to tick away very fast. If you're miserable, it goes very slowly for you. Have you noticed this? On a particular day, you're very happy, 24 hours, chup. Now you're depressed, 24 hours feel like a eon for you. Yes or no? Yes. So only miserable people have a long life. If you're a joyful person, it's a brief life. If you're an ecstatic person, it's just a moment, poof, it's gone before you know what's happening. Life has gone so fast that even my body has not realized time has gone by and it's still I have not realized time has gone by. This is the 30th year of Isha, 30th anniversary of Isha Foundation, and I can't believe 30 years, it feels like 3 days in my experience. And in these 3 days or 30 years, my schedules are… Singapore is a holiday for me, I just come to golf and otherwise…
So what do you think so far of the video?
Well, he has a lot of great points. I mean, understanding that time is always going to be constant and something that never stops. It's kind of, taking that time in order to understand what exactly you need to do to make that time as awesome, as impactful, as charismatic, as exciting for you yourself. I mean, and even like you said, all the bad things, they're gonna be constant, they're inevitable. It's something that just comes along with the life, but it's a perspective that you can have within inside of yourself on what you're gonna take from it, how you're gonna learn from it, how you're gonna grow from it, and what impact that you can have to help others kind of go through those experiences as well. So
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing.
Of course.
She honestly has so much wisdom within herself, so stay tuned for after the video to hear more facts from her. Let's get back into it.
My schedules are insane, okay? Every day, 20 hours minimum, we are on. I have never missed a single airplane till now. In a day, sometimes I've been in 6 airports, but I've never missed an airplane, I've never missed an appointment, I've never been late to an appointment in 30 years. But I don't manage time, I manage myself. Time, how to manage? It's too big a thing to manage, it's not in your hands. Whether you like it or not, it's ticking away, isn't it? Yes? If you sit here, it's ticking away, if you jump around, it'll tick away. Do whatever you want, it'll tick away, isn't it? But what you can do with yourself, that you can manage, there's nothing to do with the time. So self-management, not time management. Just a few days ago, I was flying in from India. Normally it used to be 13.5, 14 hours, but now there is some issue that Pakistan is not allowing airplanes to fly over their airspace, so it's taking 16 hours. Because I know all the pilots and I'm a licensed pilot myself, so they let me sit in the cockpit and I'm interested in what's happening there. So I was talking to them and they said, Sadhguru, I said, 14 hours, isn't it? They said, no, Sadhguru, 16 hours, it's so long. Then I said, see, I'm not complaining. Because just a century ago, if I had to go to United States, it was 60 days. 16 hours, I'm not complaining, I'm okay. I'll sit down, lie down, read something, do something or talk to you. But I'm not complaining about 16 hours. How did 60 days become 16 hours? Simply because from a chugging steam engine to a jet engine, hello? Suddenly 60 days became 16 hours. So the only way you can take charge of time is by mastering your energies, how they function. If you are functioning like a steam engine, it's a long time. If you're functioning like a jet engine, boom. Right now they're saying the Chinese have developed an airplane where Beijing to New York you can do it in 2 hours. They're saying by 2028 they'll have it commercially ready. 2 hours. So, this is not mastery of time, but consequentially it is mastery of time. If what somebody does in 10 years, if you can do it in 1 year, if both of you live for 100 years, in terms of impact and profoundness of experience, you lived for 1,000 years. Hello? That is the only way you can take charge of time. And one who's taken charge of time, for him, the entire universe is a sweetness of compassion. That will be his experience of life once he's taken charge of time.
So what did you think of the video after watching that?
Very good, very insightful.
Yeah.
Very insightful. Definitely understanding that, like you said, time never stops. It doesn't stop for anyone. It doesn't matter how much money you have, how much wisdom you have. It's just all of an understanding of what you're going to do with it and what is it? Self-management.
Exactly.
Self-management.
The key is self-management, not time management.
Right.
And it's really cool because I feel like we tend to have a lot of words that we use, honestly, so unconsciously that it almost reflects the unconscious way of thinking without us thinking, if that makes sense.
Right.
And so even the word like time management, if we could truly understand how we can't really manage time, that realization itself will help us focus more on ourselves than…
Self-management. It's not time.
Exactly.
Time is something that is implemented out of our reach.
Yes.
Self-management are things that we have control over.
Yes.
You know, instances we can't have control, but how we react to those instances is what we can.
100%. And you were also telling me something earlier, which is really cool and fascinating about time in terms of what it stands for and like where you learned that. Want to tell us about that?
Right. So I was listening to another podcast called Boss Babes, and Jay Shetty was their guest, and he basically broke down time in an acronym of saying that waking up in a state of gratitude. So TIME, T is waking up thankful. So you wake up in the morning, you kind of state what you're thankful for. You just had a great night's sleep. You woke up that morning, you have food in the fridge to make, you know, have all these opportunities for the rest of the day in order to grow and learn. And then I is inspiration, so kind of taking in those inspirational things about you. So I have a lot of art on the wall.
Okay.
I turn on my music in the morning, and I have the smell of coffee in the morning as well. And those are very inspirational for me because they're just my day to day. They kind of keep me going.
Sweet.
And M is meditation, so taking that time to sit with my thoughts and have those affirmations and kind of set those goals of the things that I want to accomplish in the day, in the month, in the year, in 5 years, and just having those ideas and that excitement and letting your mind wander and believe in possibilities that not necessarily you would have had influence from others around you, but what's inside of you.
Yes.
And that is what meditation is all about, is sitting with those thoughts and kind of understanding how you want to implement them or just feel them.
Yeah.
And just sit with them. Because a lot of your emotions sit within your own thoughts. And
yes.
And that is what impacts your decisions. It's what impacts your friendships and your relationships. And if you have realization of that and you understand them, then you kind of have a better navigation and what to feel when you're feeling it and how you're feeling it and knowing whether it's an influence of something else or it's actually that feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
But in E,
yeah,
the last E is exercise. So making sure you have at least 30 to 45 minutes of simple exercising. And it's not always like this hard, heavy, sweating workout, but that does definitely pump up the endorphins and
for sure.
Kind of gives me that sense of clarity.
Yes.
But also walks in nature. That's been my biggest thing this year. I mean, granted, it's really hot in Texas, but hearing the birds, being by the lake, feeling the breeze, sunsets are just so re-energizing and kind of the cap to a awful or lovely day, but kind of seeing the beauty right there, having a moment, you kind of realize that tomorrow is going to be a new one. So how are you going to make it.
Thank you so much for sharing those beautiful points.
Of course. Thank you for having me. This has been lovely.
Absolutely. Like I mentioned, I mean, I learned so much, not only from the video from Sadhguru himself, but from you as well. You've had some really cool things to say, and the time acronym is beautiful.
Yeah, it's definitely something to kind of take a step back, especially knowing, and like you said, that you have no control over it. It was just this constant worry that I never had enough time, and I was never going to achieve everything that I wanted because I was always so consumed with other things.
Yes.
But just breaking that down and giving me those things,
Yeah.
I can give my all to others.
That's it.
And that's really what it's all about. What you can give for others, and what you can learn from others, and what others can learn from you.
That's it. And I'm curious, what do you think of Sadhguru after watching this video? It's for the first time, right?
Very cool guy. I love how soft-spoken he is, but yet, stern with his words.
Yes.
That's such a true leader in learning how to relay a message to multiple different audiences, multiple different cultures, and kind of taking that into consideration with the speaking and articulation.
Yeah, well said, and I'm glad you connected with him.
Yeah.
And just kind of like wrap this all up. I mean, it really comes down to, as he says, not time management, but energy management.
Self-management.
Self-management. There we go.
Energy management is number one, though.
Exactly.
Too, and kind of figuring out what exactly your energy is, and what you gain from others, and what you take in, but what also you produce and what you radiate to others as well. Because, I mean, the constant negativity, I mean, anybody you walk up to or you kind of interact on a day-to-day basis, you can usually tell within the first 5 minutes of speaking with them what they're carrying and how their energies are influencing this conversation and their feelings and their openness.
Yes, absolutely. And like you just mentioned, I mean, energy is such a powerful yet you have control over thing. And so it comes down to kind of what he says, which is along the lines of how I think either mentioned this video or another one, but basically the idea of how he doesn't really always say you should do this or should do that, but what he recommends is if you were able to truly help connect with the energy and just be conscious about it, you living for 1 year will be equal to someone else's 10 years. And so if you've lived for 100 years, it's like you've lived for 1,000 years. And so it comes down to that. It's really, again, the clock is ticking. We really don't have control over that.
Yeah, tick tock.
There we go. But at the same time, energy is something we do have control over, and it's super important that we are just conscious about that.
And the impact that you leave. And I
Yes.
mean, even with this conversation today, I learned something from you. You learned from something from me. It's a constant exchange of energy from your day-to-day, from objects to people.
Yeah.
Everything carries that. And
That's it.
And it's what you're going to let your body take on and what you're going to let others take from you as well.
That's it. Beautifully said. And I want to thank you all for watching. I would love to hear what you think about time management. I mean, is that something you follow, or now has your view on that changed? In the comments down below.
No.
There we go. And don't forget to check out
Jacqueline Bryant, Flying with Jack Bryant on Instagram. Lots of travel, lots of food, lots of different just vibes. I love the vibrancy. I love kind of being out there and love just taking in the beauty of the everyday.
That's it, So don't forget to check her out. All of her stuff will also be down below. Appreciate you for your time as well as your energy.
Thank you.
And,
thank you for having me. This has been so lovely and
absolutely.
Such a wonderful, refreshing conversation.
Most definitely.
Hey, you were wise beyond your years too.
Thank you so much. With that, make a great day. Take it joyfully and stay conscious. Awesome job.
Cool, man.
You did great.
Awesome.